Good day. My presentation is about interest. We have the following objectives. First, illustrate simple and compound interest. Second, distinguish between simple and compound interests. And third, solve problems involving simple interest. We have the following definition of terms, but I will just read the terms but not the definition anymore. You can go back to this later. First, we have lender or creditor. Number 2, borrower or debtor. Number 3, origin or loan date. Number 4, repayment date or maturity date. Number 5, time or term, represented by T. Number 6, principal. Number 7, rate. Number 8, interest. Number 9, simple interest. Number 10, compound interest. And number 11, maturity value or future value. These are the 11 important terms that you have to understand and familiarize with. These are very important once we go to the problems about business math. And as we go on to our lesson, you will understand its term better once we have problems regarding interests. Let's have this illustration of simple and compound interest. Suppose you have 10,000 pesos and you plan to invest it for 3 years. A cooperative group offers 5% simple interest rate per year and a bank offers 5% compounded annually. Which will you choose and why? If you understood the meaning of simple and compound interest, you will understand this problem. So this time, I believe you have already knowledge about these two types of interest, simple and compound, but we need to deepen your understanding on this. As we move on, you will understand better simple and compound interest. Let's have this table for me to illustrate the solution to the problem. Let's have first simple interest. So simple interest here. Time, you were given 3 years. So let's write here 1, 2, 3, meaning to say first year, second year, and third year. Principal is 10,000, and the rate is 5%. So the solution here, this part, we have to get the simple interest. So SI here means simple interest. We have to get the simple interest, and to get the simple interest, simply get 5% of 10,000. So this will be 10,000 times 0.05. And the answer is 500. This 500 is the interest of 10,000 for 1 year. After 1 year, the maturity value or the amount after 1 year will become 10,500. Simply add the principal and the interest here. So 10,500 pesos after 1 year. Now, on the second year, it's the same principal, 10,000, that we have to get 5% of it. It's the same solution here. Let me just put like this, meaning to say the same as above to make it fast. 500. On the second year, the interest is still 500. So let's add 500 to 10,500 here. So plus 500, then it will become 11,000. On the second year, the amount of your money will be 11,000. Now, on the third year, it's the same principle that we have to use here. It's the same interest, so the same solution, the same interest after 3 years, 500 again. So simply add 500 to 11,000. Then after 3 years, the amount of your money will be 11,500. So looking at this, there is also common difference or common interval. 10,500 plus 500 is 11,000 plus 500 is 11,500. If you can remember arithmetic sequence, this is another representation of that. So meaning to say, simple interest is simply like arithmetic sequence wherein the interest per year is constant. It's always 500 per year that you have to add. Constant interest. Now, as we move on to the next table in the next slide, you will see what makes it different with compound interest. Now, let's have this table to show you the solution for compound interest. Let's say this will be your investment too if you want to invest this in the bank that offers 5% interest compounded annually. The same time that we have to use year 1, year 2, and year 3. The principal is 10,000 pesos. It's 10K. The same interest, which is 5%. I can write it this way, 5%. For the solution, simply multiply 10,000 by 5%. So 10,000K times 0.05. And the answer is 500 pesos. 500 is the interest. CI here is the compound interest for 1 year. So the maturity value, or at the end of 1 year, the amount of your money will be 10,000 pesos plus 500 will be 10,500. Now, on the second year, if it is compounded annually, you have to make your principal 10,500. So you have to include the interest when you compute for the next year. So this time, this is 10,500, still 5%. So this will be 10,500 times 0.05. The principal and the interest are combined when you get the interest for the next year. So 10,500 times 0.05 is 525. Meaning to say, you have to get also the interest on the interest. Getting the interest on the interest also, aside from the principal. Now we have to add 10,500 plus 525 here. And this will become 11,025 pesos. Again, 10,500 here plus the new interest on the second year equals 11,025 pesos. This will be the amount of your money after 2 years. And on the third year, our principal here now will become 11,025, the same interest 5%. So multiply 11,025 times 0.05 again will give us 551.25. And then add this to the previous amount, and the result is 11,576.25. 11,576.25 will be the amount of your money after 3 years. So this is how you will compute compound interest. Obviously, if you will apply compound interest, the result or the value is higher than the simple interest. Now, let us compare this to the previous lesson that you learned in grade 10 and also during the first quarter. If simple interest is related to arithmetic sequence, this time compound interest is related to geometric sequence. And also to the previous lesson that you learned during the first quarter, this is related to exponential growth. And you know that already. If you want to try that, you can get this answer, this final answer, once you apply the formula. And that's what you're going to learn also about this lesson. This graph illustrates the difference between simple and compound interest. So simple interest remains constant throughout the investment term, and in compound interest, the interest from the previous year also earns interest. That's why the interest in compound grows every year exponentially. Let's recall this formula about simple interest, because in the next 2 slides, I will discuss 2 problems about simple interest. Remaining problems about compound interest will be in the next session or maybe next week. Simple interest is equal to, so I sub S, meaning to say interest, simple interest simple, is equal to PRT. P stands for the principal, R is the rate, and T stands for the time. Very simple to remember, or very easy to remember. Let's have this example. A bank offers 0.25% annual simple interest rate for a particular deposit. How much interest will be earned if $500,000 is deposited in the savings account for 1 year? Let us recall the formula. I is equal to principal times rate times time. Let's have the given. Principal is 500,000. So I is equal to 500,000 is 500,000 times rate, which is 0.25. Take note, 0.25 still with percent sign. So 0.25% when you change to decimal will be 0.0025. Simply move the point 2 places to the left or simply divide 0.25 by 100. So times 0.0025 and then times 1 because it's 1 year. Then multiply 500,000 times 0.0025 times 1 is 1,250. 1,250 pesos is the interest of 500,000 for 1 year. So we are asked to give only the simple interest. How much interest? So no need to add 1,250 to 500,000 pesos. So this is the interest after 1 year. Next, let's have example number 2. How much interest is charged when 10,000 pesos is borrowed at an annual interest rate of 8% for 6 months? So here, 10,000 pesos is the principal, 8% is the rate, which is the same as 0.08. And the time is 6 months. So take note, time is in 6 months, but the interest is in terms of year, annual interest. When you see like this, you have to divide it by 12 because there are 12 months in a year. So 6 over 12 is equal to 0.5 or 1/2. That if time is in terms of months, you have to divide it by 12. So let me repeat, the principal is 10,000 pesos. The rate is 8%, 0.08, and the time is 6 months, so 6 over 12, because there are 12 months in a year. So 6 over 12 is 0.5 or 1/2. Now, let's solve this. I is equal to principal times rate times time. 10,000 times 0.08 times 0.5. So use your calculator and this will give you 400 pesos. Meaning to say after 1 year, no, it's not 1 year, after 6 months, the interest is in terms of year, it's annual interest, but you have to know your interest after 6 months. After 6 months, the interest will be 400 pesos. That's all for now. Thank you for watching.